Cool. So you guys have to understand that, this isn't some crazy strategy that we're learning. It's literally the nature of the markets. We're watching the market mark down, all right, accumulate, which at the end of the day, John Fibonacci actually said something today that was pretty cool. The way, this is just opinions being formed, right? Consolidation, this is just sell opinions being formed and buy opinions being formed. Naturally, the market's going to take one of the sides. We're going to see the mark up. We're going to go ahead and see the same thing happen to the upside, which is called distribution. Same thing, breakdown. So understanding this logic, guys, and we're going to go deep into that when it comes here for the first 5 minutes. This is what you need to understand on a bigger time frame. How did I learn all this? From following these educators, guys, Zach and Jordan, Power Hour every single day at 3 p.m. other than Thursday, right? Rock Kumar, I really barely miss a session Monday and Friday. I don't really hop on the 6 a.m.s, but always watching Monday, Friday, 2 a.m., right? Mike Miles for the newest individuals, Mike Navarrete at 10 a.m. Tuesdays and Thursdays. So these are the guys that are teaching these exact methods, right? Understanding that, hey, the market's going to do all these things, and we're going to go into this, right? But that's everything you guys just need to understand. I took a screenshot of this as well, so everybody's going to have it. But we're going to dive right in, guys, because, all you need to understand is that, hey, this, if you don't know, right, this is an Elliott wave. All right, now what Elliott wave is, okay, is literally just a wave impulse. So you pretty much start at a low and you get a move up, that's 0 to 1, and then your pullback is 1 to 2, and then you're going to get a pull up, which is 2 to 3, a pullback, which is 3 to 4, and then a push up in 5. You'll see the market move in these waves, all right? How do you develop a trading plan and trading schedule with institutional concepts starting the course tomorrow? Cool. So how do you develop a trading plan and trading schedule? So the schedule completely depends on you, whether you want to trade London and or New York. And, the trading plan is pretty much the same. You just honestly are taking a different risk to reward, when it comes to taking these trades. Because the reason why we learn these setups is because we don't want to buy in here in the consolidation with everybody else and risk the 50 pips to make the 50 pips, right? This is the way a lot of traders trade. Risk 50 to make 50, risk 50 to make 100. And 2 to 1 is great. But honestly, guys, most of the individuals that are trading smart money, we're taking the very low risk setups, anywhere between 15 to 30 pip stop losses, and we're looking for 3 to 1, 4 to 1, 5 to 1 ratios. So my trading plan is really just 3 to 5% risk on something that's over a 3 to 1 ratio, right? That's literally the best ratios, in the game for the most part. And that's what really stood out to me when it came to smart money, right, guys? Because again, most people are going to do 1 to 1, 1 to 2s, but with smart money, you're following along with the banks, so you're getting the better entries, right? Now, again, this is what the banks print or Elliott waves. What we do is we either, catch the breaks and retests of this wave, just like if I were to draw a resistance line right here, right? You catch the break in the retest, right? You do that, but also as smart money traders, we get to play in these pools of liquidity, right? At the end of the day, this is just a big pool of money going on. So what we have happen, right, is you find what market cycle you're in, right? Are we in a mark down, an Elliott wave to the downside, a high, a low, a high? I got this messed up. Yeah, no, a lower high. That's what this should say, actually. Wow. That's all good, right? Now we're just going to clone it. We'll get this out of here. Right, so you have a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low, a lower high, a lower low, right? And once we get that 5 wave, 6 wave, whatever it may be, you're going to start seeing equal highs, equal lows. Now you're just creating the money. You got a spring to the downside, which is normally 20 to 50 pips, right, away from the regular buyers, just to move up, make a new high. You want to see that new high made above these. That's where you know it's a shift in the trend, right? Because if it's a downtrend, we want to wait till we see that higher high, right? High, low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. I hope that makes sense to you guys, right? So you want to understand on a daily 4-hour, 1-hour time frame where you're at in this market cycle, right? Because again, inside here, all they do is accumulate sell orders, accumulate buy orders. They sell to buy. They come back to break even on the sell position that they took to go ahead and continue buying on the markup, right? So same thing happens over here. We make a higher high, then we make pretty much a higher low, and then we pretty much move sideways. And then we have, since this is distribution, this is an up thrust after distribution. Distribution up thrust, lower low, right? And this is where I messed up. Lower high. I'm gonna have to take a new screenshot of this, but that's all right. We got this right now. Clone it, delete it, clone it, delete it. Cool, perfect. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and delete this. Take a new screenshot. But I hope this makes sense to you guys. So when you go to your charts, and I'm going to go over a lot of chart setups with this, right? You want to see where in the market cycle that you're at. And you guys know, because I'm saying it consistently, that's really the first thing that I'm looking for. And I'm going to drop these. I'm going to go ahead and drop these in the other chat as well. I'm actually going to go ahead and drop it right here in Discord for everybody under the trade ideas so you guys can come reference it, right? Just to use that. All right. So again, up thrust after distribution, lower low, lower high. Now we know when these tests right here, right? This is your key area. This is where a lot of people will pull that fib out from low to high, and you're entering anywhere between that 70 and 79, which is right there, right? Vice versa up here, you get that U-tan. You're not always going to get that sniper entry up here, right? So you wait to see the lower low. Now you can react on this, which is a little bit different of a retracement, right? This is just a 62%. But again, like I made that up. I could bring it up here if I wanted to, right? But either way, this is where now, if you're not even a smart money trader, that's fine, because now all you're going to do is catch the breaks of support and resistance, right? Support, breaks through, resistance, boom, right? Support, breaks through, resistance, boom. So again, guys, it's the same concept, just us as smart money traders, we want to identify the low risk setups that we could take right here, right? Put our stop underneath the spring low, 20 pips to go ahead and target whatever higher liquidity we have for 75. This is a 3.5 to 1 risk to reward, and it's normally happening within a couple hours, right? Especially on an intraday basis, right? So this is just, a little different than everything else that you're trading, right? And again, you guys got to understand that, it's just about you finding the deeper why behind the markets, right? I'm not saying that, patterns don't work, trend lines don't work, like they work, but this actually tells you what the candles are trying to say, right? So I actually took a little bit of notes from this. Is all I'm going to do here. I went ahead and already dropped it in the trade ideas for you guys. So that's as far as I'm going to touch on that. We're going to go straight into some trade setups. Let me see. We got some more people on the call. What is good? Perfect. Cool. So we're going to start off with the DXY, right? We're going to go ahead and break down the DXY. It definitely did what we wanted it to last week. We can go ahead and review what I talked about in the trade ideas chat, right? So check this out. I had dropped this DXY chart, right? So this was last week, all this price action last week. Our bearish bias from last week played out, right? We took out all of our lows that we wanted up in here. Looking to start this week out bullish. We may come close a little bit of this gap we created over the weekend, but overall looking to take more bullish targets. So as you guys see right here, all right, as I go back to the DXY, what had happened was when Friday was closing, right? Friday closed here, it closed underneath these lows, and this is kind of like an institutional candle, right? After moving down all week, we closed, we opened up on a gap. So honestly, when this market opened up yesterday, we could be seeing a small retracement back down into the gap to go ahead and move back to the upside. Because what do we have to the upside? We have our target from last week that never got retested to the downside. It just took off from here. And we also have this target from last week that we want to get to, right? This is a key. These are two key areas that we want to get to the dollar index. So I am looking bullish on it, especially with how nice this looks. Now, yes, we do have this gap at 98.50, but overall, I'm thinking not even a deep retracement on this, even a 50% retracement on this to catch this top of the candle. And again, as you see, anything is valid in here, guys. Anything is valid within this area, especially with the dollar index, right? So if we're looking for a bullish index, maybe bearish to start off tonight, whatever it may be, what else? Yesterday we just kind of moved sideways. Right now, all we're pretty much doing is just creating those equal highs. Right, creating those equal highs. We have a little bit of pull here. If we could just dip down underneath these lows into this gap, we could see some good continued higher price action, right? So that's what I was going over on the DXY here. It played out perfectly with GU last night when I set this out at 3 a.m., right? What are we looking for? You know, when I come to a chart, you know, again, you know, not to do the entire thing for you guys, but I'm not even going to do it because we go over the big term time frames all the time, right? We're going to keep it small term right now. So on GU, right, what do we have? We had a pool liquidity get made here, right, on the run up. We obviously have these focus points to the upside. So my first focus point was this point of interest down candle before a big up move that took this side of liquidity, right? Again, guys, you know, keep up on everything here, right? This is our first focus point. We were looking for the market to maybe come down here for a buy. All right. Now, my second focus point was the sell position, right? If the market were to make up here to this candle, we would have looked for sells. Now, the dollar index was looking bullish, so we wanted to see this down. So maybe a rise to boom. What ended up happening, guys? All right. You know, we had a slow morning on the DXY. We just got to continue moving up, like I showed you. We did get a reaction on GU. All right. So I sent it out right here last night. Market moved down, and as you see, what did it do? It moved below the liquidity and right into the small imbalance area and almost to the wick of my point of interest candle, right? It came to 2403. I was really looking for buys, right, at 2400. Okay, look, buy entry whole level 2400, right? So we just missed what we needed there, and then we got an engulfing hour candle. So it was honestly would have been a great entry, and it went for 50 pips. We just missed out a little bit. So now since that played out, it's invalidated this buy entry. Now our next target is pretty much TP2 in this gap. And now where the market's at, we're actually pushing back up towards these sell entries, which is perfect, right? Because if we want a bearish dollar index, I mean a bullish dollar index, if DXY is bullish, that means XXX USD will be bearish, which applies to GBP USD, right? So I just wanted to show that correlation for you guys, right? So what happened with GBP USD, right? We're going to go to it and mark it up. Cool, perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of the stuff I just showed for you guys. So this is now invalidated. That point of interest candle was played on this imbalance, right? So this could have been a play last night. I just didn't take it first TP for the sell. I'm going to go ahead and delete this blue line, right? Small gap down here. We took that liquidity. This is pretty much over, right? This liquidity was captured. Now look at the market, right? My high probability sell setups are anywhere up in this point of interest candle. It was a buy to sell. We already filled this imbalance. Now we're coming to look up here, right? This is a 30 pip risk. If you take it right before the whole level, a 2-to-1 ratio there. If you take it at the whole level, you're risking 15 pips, and it's almost a 5-to-1 just for level 1, right? And honestly, I would bring this TP down to here now, to be honest, to below these lows. TP2 is right in this imbalance, and TP3 is pretty much where our next buy entry is going to be. But this is what I'm really looking for GBP USD, right, is to come fill up here. I'll drop this in the chat after the call. We got Joseph on here. Yeah, I'm not sure. Is this making sense to you guys? Is this looking good? If you guys have any charts you want me to look over, please drop them in the chat. I will definitely look over them, guys. But that's pretty much what I'm looking for on the dollar or for GU. Let's look how clean price action was last night. You know, again, just to show you guys, let me turn my session breaks on. Show you guys what happened here. I'll definitely check out the NAS 100. I'm definitely going to look at the SPX. So perfect. So this is where market opened yesterday. May 1st, May 3rd. So this is market open, right? What do we get? We pretty much get Asian session consolidation. right? So pretty much from here to here, right, all the way up till 2 o'clock, we get Asian session consolidation. We run up to start London. What do? They push one candle up into the imbalance to take out these highs and run the market down. What do they do when they run the market down? They made a last down candle, right? You see the money move up. They're pretty much taking break-even entries on this down candle to go ahead up. But again, these weren't the clean entries. These weren't anything I was looking for because it wasn't on a bigger time frame, right? Overall, I was waiting for this to get hit, not this. To me, this left a pool of money, so this wasn't too clean. Now what we're doing again, look what this hour candle breaks down to, 4 15-minute up candles, right? So anywhere, any sell entry within this blue box is a 30 pip risk, and you're going to be targeting these lows at least, right? So again, at least a 2-to-1 ratio where we're looking at that. EA, perfect. So same setup for GU. I'm going to go ahead and leave that where it is. Let me take session breaks off. Before I go into NAS, I'm going to go into SPX. Right, so XPX actually had a short-term institutional candle play. This, for anybody that's using Hugo's Way, this candle right here was a gap in the market. All right, I'm going to go ahead, see if I can make this like white and color it out. Cool, so this was a gap in the market, right, on market open yesterday. So when market opens up, and it was actually opened up like right here, right around 2,800, okay, right at a whole level. So a lot of people psychologically want to buy at 2,800 on this whole level right here to go fill this gap. Now, as they're not wrong, right? This is what retailers are thinking. Hey, look, market opens low, and if I broke this candle down on a smaller time frame, you guys would see what I'm talking about, right? Look, market opens and closes, and this 15-minute candle closed right here at 2,800. So people wanting to buy this back into the gap, right? But what they don't understand with smart money, right? Does smart money want to reverse here? Not if there's money over to the left. You got to look left to get right. So sometimes you got to say, all right, let me go ahead and just take a look as to what's going on over here on the left side. Well, as you look over here to the left side, right, where market was at, what is hanging out right here? We actually have a pool of liquidity right here, right? It's just a pool of lows, a pool of money that they left. And what's below the liquidity? An imbalance where there's a down candle before an up move. So see how I made this price line right here at like 27.84 within this blue box? So what you can do as a smart money trader, right? If I were to put a line, right, extended out from this liquidity zone, you guys would see that, hey, they were showing there was a pool of liquidity right here, right? So why would the market want to reverse here if there's a pool of money hanging out right here? What do they want to do? They want to pull the market down into that pool, right? And this actually was beautiful on smaller time frames. You let this play out on entry, and then as you guys see, they accumulated for about 2 hours. They pulled one candle down. They pulled one candle down before they ran the market right back up, and then they pretty much almost came back and retested that candle right there on the wick. They got close enough. They got to this liquidity point, right? But do you guys see, how you could take that? And look, also this blue line, right, is the open of these down candles up in here. So versus trying to take a buy entry somewhere up in this stuff where you have liquidity hanging out, if you just wait a little bit more, right? And we're talking risk to reward right here. We're talking risk to reward right here. Because again, if I'm taking a buy entry right here at 2,800 and I'm putting a stop below the lows, below these lows, right? That's a 26 pip stop, right? If you're putting it below this liquidity lows, it's a 38 pip stop. Now, if I were to wait till after it took liquidity and came down to the last imbalance before the up move, now look how And so, you know, if we were to enter here and we needed a 3-to-1 ratio, right? Look, we got to run this market all the way up here, right? Now, if I pull entry down here and just be patient and wait for an imbalance to fill, now I'm only risking 20 pips or even less, 12 pips under this low. Because if it takes this low, it's taking this pool of liquidity, right? And now look, now I only need, this is a 9-to-1 ratio. Now I only need to get to here for a 3-to-1, right? So this is why you guys saw me drop this setup, right? Short-term institutional candle play, run it up to come get a better sell entry later on in the week, right? So what are we seeing? What are we seeing the market do right now, right? It's come up out of this, and we're pretty much running up. Obviously, we've invalidated my buy entry at 28.50, which is fine. I didn't think it was going to hold anyways. The market looks like it wants to get higher. And then also the reason why I got this pointed out is on this down retracement, right? It's going to be right at the 79%, right? Boom. The open of the imbalance, big imbalance. On a bigger time frame, this is a clean up candle, right? So I'm probably looking for the same thing on NAS. See how this is an up candle for a down move, imbalance, boom, boom, boom. But yeah, guys, just understand that like this is how you could have even taken a nice buy entry off of SPX yesterday, right? Look, 5-minute, 2-candle drive down, drive up, retest of the structure, right? I could literally even come break this down on a small time frame, and I'll do this on a small time frame, right? When I know what I'm looking for. Because look at this, right? They create, and you'll see them do this a lot, guys. If you're in the, this is here's a key thing if you haven't, you know, seen this before in the schematic. All right, in the schematic, let me go to GU. Let me go to this. If you're in a markdown, all right, and you catch yourself buying too early before this spring down, a lot of the times before this pull down, they're going to make 2 main pools of money. Okay? They're going to make 2 main pools of money before you see that push down. 2 smaller time frame pools of money before that push down. All right? That's just something that I notice. I promise you it happens all the time. You're going to see it on a lot of pairs, whether it's on the 15-minute, 5-minute, 1-minute. But you know, the reason why I just went back and showed you guys that is because on this trade, it works the same exact way, and I'm going to show you how you would execute on it. Right? So look, let me go ahead and delete this. Go ahead and blow this up a little bit. Right? So we get the market open down, let it run, let it run. What do you want to do? You don't want to buy anything here. Look, if you're buying here, buying here, buying here, money's not getting behind the move fast enough. Let it fall, let it fall, let it fall. Falls heavy, money's still not getting behind the move overall. These are equal lows, right? So for the most part, we created one pool of equal lows, run down. See how equal these are? You don't want to, this is no clean schematic, guys. You don't want to buy this. You want to mark this off as more equal lows, right? You want to mark it off as more equal lows. And now, what do you wait for? You wait for that next time we come into this low area. They may have got you on this candle, which is straight. If you see this candle down, right, takes the lows, market trickles down a little bit. You just don't get that fast reaction, right? They just didn't quite get enough people in. So I wasn't putting into putting into play these lows. I was technically talking about this set and then this set, because again, what do you see, guys? As I pull this over, right, we came up a little bit, we made, and this is exactly what we need to see the upside, same exact thing, guys. We got some highs there. So 2 pools of highs to the downside, 2 pools of lows to the low side, 2 pools of highs to the high side. Look, run the market down, below this last set of lows. You see those last 2 candles to the downside, right? Again, pretty much. I know it's super small, but if you're watching a 1 minute time frame, this is that candle, right? You see the push down, You see the push down, right? When you see this retest, like you could take this now. This doesn't have to be it, right? This is just a sniper entry. And again, guys, like if you're taking something like this, I mean, again, I'm putting a stop literally right here, guys. Like I'll do a minimum 5 pip stop. Like if I'm watching this on a smaller time frame, and what are you targeting to go break even? Equal highs. So again, even you still see a 2-to-1 ratio, but I'm holding this long term because I know where my targets are. Now, if you don't get in here, what do you let see? You let the market run above the highs, run to the highs here, create equal highs. Now, what you're doing is entering on any pullbacks. This pullback happened to go into the only down candle that they created in the up move. So ultimately, I think this probably would have been the best buy setup right here off 28,786. Let the market mark up. You could even wait for it to take these highs, wait for any of these retracements. And again, you're pretty much catching it to the upside, guys. That's as clean as it can be, right? On a smaller time frame. And now, as you see, the market's literally ran up. So it just depends on, what kind of candles that you really want to take on this. But ultimately, I'm looking for this to go ahead and run up. It doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. If we could put some OO candle action into play, right? This is our OO candle. So we did just get a close above it. So again, honestly, I mean, I think based on everything that goes on with the OO strategy, again, I don't know if Jay himself is on here yet, or if he was on here. I know I got a couple of the prodigies on here too. But yeah, either way, again, it seems like, some kind of setup, just like this, even on SPX, like only taking a 17 pip risk. So look, go ahead and moving even into mine is a 2-to-1, right? You could either wait for even some of this retracement, right? Maybe even 50% of that candle run a 12 pip risk. Now you're looking 40. Now you're a 3-to-1 ratio. So who knows? Like, this is a setup that you're going to take. Like, it's a setup that you're going to take. Let's check it out on the other pairs. Not going to touch on gold yet. Let me go down to NAS since I know it was asked for. All right, again, NAS, I'm sure we're going to see the same thing happening. Right, look at this. So overall price action, right? Market opens yesterday. All right, now what happened before the close? What happened last week? We obviously had a big downtrend. All right, downtrend last week, right? Super clean price action. We see equal highs. We see an up candle. We see retests to the upside. See how these candles are just created, right? These are just to scare out the majority, right, guys? See how these like don't fit? Those are literally bank candles running up to run down, right? So market closes. We've pretty much created these equal lows right here. So there's definitely a possibility of gapping to the downside as the market opens. We obviously, again, just like on SPX, what did we have? We kind of had these equal lows right here. You guys see a down candle with an imbalance right here, right? Again, if it were to break this, guys, you just got to take your small L and let it run below these lows. Just take your small L. But all I'm saying is look how low risk a setup like this is, guys. I'm literally risking, at most 7 pips on NAS. What are you going to target? You could target this imbalance. You could target this beautiful candle, right? We actually got a lot of imbalances hanging up here. Where could this thing stop? But yeah, see, same setup, boom, buy entry. You could take that, whatever it may be. If it's not your kind of entry, cool. It's not your kind of entry, right? It played by all my rules for the most part. Looking for obviously some retracements up, right? This imbalance lines up at the 79%. I think this might be a little close. This candle is really clean, but again, even with the OO strategy, we could be seeing some bullish momentum, right? Let's see this on a 15-minute time frame. I'm gonna do the same exact thing. The sell targets that I look for to the upside here, I'm just gonna do the same thing on a smaller time frame. Look at this, guys, right? What do? Pool of money 1, pool of money 2, drops the market. right? Pool of money 1, pool of money 2, drops the market, runs up. As you guys see, we haven't got our retest here. What we did get the retest was of the overall structure though. See that overall structural candle down, candle down. Sometimes it won't come down here yet, but that's perfect. Look, it literally left it right here at 8,600. You guys heard me talk about quarters theory while I was having technical difficulties last Friday, right? Look, this candle literally happened right here at 80. Look, the open is 8,600. Like you're joking me, right? So that's going to be a clean buy position. Market ran up. Again, as I'm looking at for this, let me go ahead and delete this. This is an hour time frame, and now we're just looking for more institutional candles. See how this just got invalidated for me, right? On the hour, it's clean. On the hour, it's clean, right? We got. Let me go ahead and get this line out of here. And this is why I use all time frames, because I want to be that precise. I'm not trying to take the first buy entry I can take right here on the wick. Why? Because what do I got to do? I got to risk. I got to risk 8 pips. We ain't trying to risk 8 pips out here, right? 89.26. I'm just kidding. That's 84 pips, right? That's a lot on NAS. I'm not talking SPX, right? So 84 pips. I'm not trying to risk that. Even if I was doing 50%, I probably got to risk 40 pips. I'm honestly not trying to risk that, right? So what am I going to do? I'm going to go break this down on a smaller time frame. Yes, it looks nice on the hour. Yes, we have beautiful imbalance right here. Yes, we're making perfect equal highs right here at the imbalance, but I think it's short term. Yes, we could get a play on the 50% of this and a move down somewhere. I have to run. Lorenzo, oh, facts. Let's get it. Definitely. Yeah, we got you, brother. We good. We good. But ultimately, as I look at this on a smaller time frame, right? Let me just stop at the 30-minute. This is what I don't like, right? Look at this wick down, right? And everything's kind of been filled. It's just not looking like my best sell entry. I don't need to force anything, right? There's really no imbalance being played here. Everything's been filled because of this wick down and this wick back up. It's just nothing crazy to me, right? Even if I were to go down to the 5-minute time frame, right? I'm going to be looking at the same exact thing. Right, going to be looking right here. Look, we had the move up, we had the fast move down, right? We already had the mitigation play off the up candle before the down move. Right here, we've already pretty much had this retest play. So honestly, nothing here is looking clean. So I definitely want some higher price action when it comes to the NAS, looking like the same setup as SPX. Again, after this call or while Renzo's going through some charts, I'm going to drop these. But look how nice that is on the hour time frame. Look where it lines up with our Fibonacci, right? The 79%. Look how it's pretty much right here at 90.25 on a quarter level. Right? So you want to see something like that. So just continue moving up here. We obviously got to see how it reacts off of a candle like this, right? But overall, that's what I'm waiting for. I want to wait for a deeper retracement and kind of see what's going on there, right? And then same thing, same thing's going to go for the US 30, right? These buy entries weren't as clean, which is perfectly fine. It actually gave these buy entries, right? Boom, boom, boom. We're playing into this candle right now. Obviously, like we're talking about, it looks like we can get some continued price action up. We do have this up candle here. That's probably got some imbalance. We do have this up candle here that has some imbalance, right? So these are just targets to the upside right now. Obviously, the downside is money, and we just got to wait. And again, guys, like when it comes to my charts, when it comes to the trade ideas that are going to be dropped in here, like most of the time, they're not going to be market execution unless we're on a live bounce back strategy. You know what I mean? These are for you guys to come mark up on your charts and have, an alert set at 2,500 or something for yourself just to be selling GBP USD, or having a set alert at 28.75 or 28.88 up here, right? Right. So that's US 30. Let me go back to the chat. EA. So cool. I'm glad you brought up EA. I totally missed this to start the call, right? But that's all good. Forex Factory, right? Today was a Japanese holiday. All is good. We actually have AUD. We are heavy this week, guys. I cannot believe I didn't start the call with this. We about to have a big, couple days, y'all. Look how filled Tuesday is. We got cash rates, which are interest rates for the Australian dollar right here, right? We got some Euro news going on all day, Canadian news in the morning, USD news in the morning. I could really care less about this New Zealand dollar news tomorrow night at 6:45. Yeah, fireworks. I could really care less about this New Zealand news going on tomorrow night. It is unemployment rates though, so depending on where GN or NU is, we could look at it. But tonight, guys, 12:30, this is going to be big. So we're going to look at some AUD moves, right? Tuesday's jam-packed. Wednesday, another jam-packed morning, right? Along with a 9:30 p.m. Australian. Thursday, we'll probably go live early for bounce back at 2 a.m. versus 3 a.m. To watch this play out. Same thing, Australian news all week. And then Friday's NFP, guys. NFP is huge. It's the employment change for the US dollar. So we're going to be seeing a lot of moves this week. But yeah, I'm going to focus in on EA. Then I'll move to the other Australian pairs so we can see what our bias is for the Australian dollar this week. And then we'll just get into more stuff like that. Let's see. That's GA. Let's look at EA. Let's take a look at EA. And now, since EA is not one I normally look at, we'll start on a bigger time frame. Overall, let's start on a weekly. Why not? Totally missing here. Let's start on a weekly. So cool. What do you guys see? We obviously see the weeks and weeks of range that we had here. We obviously see the move up to move down to move up. What happened with this open of the moves? Look at this move down, right? What do we see happen here? Weekly mitigation play off that drop, obviously off the big run up. So we've just retraced a great amount, right? Almost to the 88. Everything's closed above the 79. So as it looks of right now, you know, it looks like we could be on the weekly shooting up towards this large imbalance. Nope. Shooting up towards this large imbalance. Looks like they've already pretty much taken the orders from this imbalance that they need, right? These are clean down candles. Obviously, we'll have to see if there's any downside targets with inside this weekly up. But outside of that, that's what I'm looking at on the weekly. This is all I need to do. Down to the daily, going to be doing the same exact things. I'm not going to worry about any of this price action. It all looks good. I see another imbalance hanging out right here. Other than that, we don't need to worry about any of that till we get there. What's hanging out right here? Equal highs. Right, pool of liquidity. See, we got the tests here. Looks like we probably filled 50% of that candle right there. Obviously, great bullish action, beautiful bullish action. Down candle, up move. So this could definitely be a potential candle that we're looking at for a daily institutional. Right, which played, again, you don't always have to catch this sniper entry, right? You wait for the retracement test. On a price, look at this, 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 look at this. Right, guys, look at the open of this daily candle. It's the 79%. If this is the high, which literally played the 50% of this institutional candle up, right? This is already looking like an amazing trade setup, right? I'm not really worried about this lower imbalance yet because of the bullish action we got off of this. Maybe we're going to come take some higher liquidity before we go ahead. See how this weekly liquidity, now I'm going to move down to a daily liquidity. Right, imbalance, I mean, sorry, not to confuse you guys. Any questions on anything I've done on a bigger time frame? I'm going to get rid of the Fibonacci, but understand our 79% is right here. All right, 4 hour. Going to do the same thing. Got to dissect this daily institutional down. What do you guys see? I'm going to go ahead and erase this. What did they do? They created a short-term pool of liquidity right there. They had one candle. They brought it right down. Right? What did they do after that? They came and retested not only the open of that candle, but almost to the 50%, and you catch that run up. So what are we maybe looking for now? That was actually a beautiful, wow, that was just absolutely ridiculous. Dang. I could honestly see this not even coming all the way down to 79%, right? Because that's a big move down, especially not for this week. That's not a trade setup I'm looking to take this week, right, guys? That's a far 252 pips away, right? So I'm not even worried about it, right? So I need to find something else. Look at this price action up in here. What sticks out to you? This institutional candle sticks out to me, right? You can do this kind of stuff. Look how it's an imbalance right here, right? See how this is all fast movement down, hang out, boom. So, and see how this, look at this lines up with 6,800, right? This is literally 6,800. Why do you think it's going to take out equal highs first before coming down to the lowest institutional candle to go back up again? Because of this bullish momentum that it showed, right? Yes, it could. Yes, we've left these lows right here, but look how clean it was. Look how clean this was on a 4-hour chart, right? It's going to be even cleaner on an hour chart. In either way, I would much rather it, even look where it ended right here. Right? It's creating these pools of liquidity, and it didn't create that on its way up, right? It just created a big bullish. So again, you have to understand, think about the Elliott wave pattern that we had, right? Right? Something like this. Now, what have we done? We've went ahead and now created a lower low and just ran, like literally just ran right up, right? And this high took out this high, it took out this high, and it made equal highs here. So now we've seen a shift in momentum. This isn't bearish anymore. So I'm not really looking for bearish positions. I want to look for bullish positions, right? I want to be looking for buy positions, right? So we could be looking for something off 6,800 here. That looks like it's probably going to line up with a 62% on a long-term fib, right there on a 62% of a long-term fib, right? But either way, I want to see this on a smaller time frame to go ahead and really see what we'd want to do here. So now smaller time frame, if we're looking left to get right, this is just so iffy. Everything's been filled. Everything's been filled. There's really not a clean imbalance other than being down here, guys. To be honest. Which, hey, yo, we got major news going on for the Australian dollar this week. Who knows? We could get some serious bullishness from the Australian dollar. Everything to the downside looks clean. Like, as I look for upside targets, other than obviously our big time targets, right? This is all we got. We got this up candle. We don't have a lot to work with, to be honest. So this could just keep on falling. This up candle with this pool of money with the imbalance above it. Other than that, guys, everything else has been played, right? We're just in a markdown, right? Support, break, retest, support, break, retest. We're literally in a markdown. So honestly, you got to let this fall. There's nothing, I would not want to touch this where it's at right now, to be honest. I mean, I could find some smaller 15-minute stuff in here to work with, right? This is where price is at right now. Hey, look right here. This could be some kind of short-term buy. buy off right here, which again, if we were to take a trade on something like this, I'm literally going to put, you know, say we were to enter right here at the top of this candle, I would want to put a low somewhere right under this wick, which is going to be about a 33 pip risk. What do we want to go ahead and target? You know, let's look what a 3-to-1 ratio would be. 3-to-1 ratio is targeting these highs, right? You would want to at least break even when you tackle these highs, which again is over 50 pips, right? So this would be the like even, you know, 15-minute areas that you would look to take profits. Does that make sense? If you wanted to take something like this, right? You could obviously even minimize the risk more if you were to only enter on this down candle, but you just might miss it, right? You could risk 20, but you just might miss it. So honestly, guys, because this doesn't really give me a great bias to the Australian dollar, I'm literally going to go look at all of my other Australian dollar pairs and see if I can figure out a bias for Australian, because honestly, in this pair, it just looks like it's going to be strong. So check this out. Watch how I do this. Right, so we just looked at EA, so let's look at AU. Clean price action to the upside. Really doesn't need to come fill anything. Everything's pretty much filled. You know what? Ultimately, I mean, like, this looks like kind of a next target type thing. Right? We got nothing really clean on the daily. Go to the 4 hour. So again, looking like honestly a bullish Australian dollar. Go down to the 4 hour. Take a look at price action here. You know, boom, I do see some imbalance to the downside that we could play. Again, I guess I'm just always, because I know imbalances is where the banks want to move the markets. And all these setups are going to be left on my charts. I'll go ahead and drop these right inside of the trade ideas when we get to it. Right, look how clean this is, guys. Pool of money, run down, test off, right? That's what you want to look for. Right now, pool of equal lows. All right, we have this imbalance hanging out here. Still on the 4 hour. Got some imbalance to play up here. So again, I'm just narrowing down my opportunities, right? Looking what we could do here. Looking what we can do here. All these tests are nice to the downside, guys. All these are really nice. I honestly think we could just start running up with price. There's no reason why it wouldn't. Just come reverse somewhere in here, right? Still looking bullish to me on AU, but nothing super clean, right? Maybe Tuesday, maybe we let the Tuesday morning 12:30 news play out, right? And then we have better setups on the rest of the news later this week. GA looking bearish. Bear side targets. All this is pretty clean. Yes, you have one upside target, but other than that, looking bearish, which means strong Australian dollar. Right, we already did EA, AJ, looking bullish, honestly. Right, so that's all you guys got to do, kind of stuff like that. Renzo, what's good, my brother? You on here, fam? You got some markups? You got EU marked up by chance?
I'll say yeah. I'm actually looking at it. So
cool, definitely.
I see.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I know EU. I know EU is a flame setup. I definitely want you to. I'm gonna unshare in a second, bro. I definitely want you to take it away. I'm pretty bearish on BTC this week. We'll touch on oil in a sec. Yeah, let me go ahead and pass it off to our man Renzo. Run it up. Shout out to the newest P600 out of New York. Is super lit. We appreciate you, bro. You're literally right there. So what I'm gonna do, let me go ahead, unshare.